So thank you all for taking a seat and welcome our guests here on stage. Dirk Schönberger, the Chief Brand Officer at MCM, in conversation with Tim Blanks, Editor-at-Large of Business of...
Welcome to this conversation. I'd start with something that we've been talking about a lot. I think we've been talking about it a lot, and I think everybody else in fashion has been talking about it a lot for a while as well, which is the importance of identity for a brand, a very clear identity. I think that Dirk is in a super interesting position right now since his return to MCM, that he is building a bridge between Berlin and Seoul. So I would like to Seoul, Korea. So that being a city that's uppermost in everybody's minds because of the K-pop phenomenon, I'd like to start with that question for you, building an identity between two very distinct ethoses.
Yeah.
The challenge there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was is one of the most exciting things about this brand, because it has this roots in Germany, in Munich. It had a lot of different stops in history, and in 2004 it was bought by a Korean lady, Sung-jo Kim, and then when I joined the company for the first time in 2018, we had like we opened an office in Berlin. So it was a little bit like Munich disco, K-pop, and Berlin electronic music that somehow came into play as well. For me, that was a pretty wild mix. I'm a music fan, so I'm always looking at youth movements through music as well. And so I love the clash, you know. I think that MCM is not like a pure Italian or French house. It's this almost schizophrenic mixture of East meets West, and something that was super glamorous. Now also with a different Germany today than it was in the 70s, and then this really amazing pop phenomenon of K-pop, and to build something around those with this friction and tension is a challenge, because of course it starts to blur the codes of the house a little bit more. But I think I love a challenge. So,
but tell me about that, because I see tension right away. Are you looking for compatibility? Are you looking to kind of explore the tension and create some hybrid compatibility, or are you looking to expand the tension and create this kind of this kind of seductive, slightly unlikely combination? I mean, how do you combine MCM's, glittering past and K-pop's glittering future?
Well, for me, I think that fashion has changed so much. I mean, when I started a long time ago, it was very much about a look. You know, you had a look, and that was it. The customer basically took that look on, and that was it. And I fear especially when you walk also on the streets of any big city in the world, there are no clear looks anymore. There is actually, that's why I like this tension and this mix. It's a little bit of K-pop and a little bit of Berlin, maybe slightly gothic look, and a little bit of the disco glamour of MCM from the 70s. And then people start to mix this. And I think that's what I want to embrace with this brand. So I want to use this diversity of influences and create something that's very relevant also for not only fashion forward customers or kids on the street, but really for a broader audience.
And how far down that road are you right now?
Well, the road, the problem is when you start to get on a road, it feels like it's always extending. You think like you're halfway, but you see that all of a sudden the goal starts, because the world is evolving, and I think that's the beauty of fashion, and that's what makes me burn for fashion still. You never really 100% arrive. It's always this challenge and push that you have to move forward, and you have to not. I could be like, okay, I'm fine now with what I have and what we are doing, but I see new influences coming in, and yeah.
But what is an audience looking for? I mean, do you think the need to identify is very strong, because we're tribal creatures and we need to belong? But I feel so much chaos and confusion right now that and the whole idea of identity, the fluidity of identity was a plus for a long time, and it felt like a social revolution in the making, and then suddenly it just actually all just cut loose and became where we are now, which just feels quite lost. And I'm wondering how you feel what you do can anchor that spin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough question. I think that you're right. When you look at fashion shows, it feels a bit like no one knows where to go right now. But I also believe that there have always been moments of this chaos in fashion, and I think it's a moment of resetting and reconfiguring. I feel like trying to bridge cultures and two cultures that are very, very distinct. I can tell you the conversations I have with the owner, Mrs. Kim, and between me and the owner are very, very not heated, but we clash a few times, because we are coming from very, very different cultures, and she is, despite she's been living all over the globe, she has a very Korean understanding of the world, while I'm very German and very squarish.
So
she always says.
What would you say her Korean understanding of the world is, though? I mean, how would it be distinct from yours?
Well, I mean, it's distinct, and I'll get to that. She is driven by future, by technology, by the latest, by the newest. She's permanently like pushing, and I always say like, listen, we need to build. We cannot run before we walk, And but she has this really extreme openness and this explorer attitude, and in a way which you would not really think of a woman her age, to be very honest. But when she reads something, she wants to have it right away, and she wants to do it. And I'm always like, listen, we have a brand, and there are codes, and we should like move to really build it, because then we can also communicate it much better to the outside world.
But would you say it's a culture clash? Like fundamentally, it's a
culture clash.
And then to reconcile that, people bend, people back off, people.
No, it's almost like. It's colliding, and that creates the energy.
Like the Big Bang.
Yeah, exactly.
And how does that, again, how would that translate if you were watching what was happening at MCM? What would you be sensing was going on? I mean, everybody right now thinks Demon Hunter, I think, when they think Korea. But that's not what they're seeing at MCM, is it? Demon hunting.
No, because I also don't like, I never like to take a reference one-to-one and just apply it to something. I think that there should be an influence where you feel the energy of the inspiration. But I'm really not a person that copy-paste something on a T-shirt or on a look. I don't like that. So for me, it's always more about the cultural, like I don't want to say subculture because K-pop is not subculture, but these things, the cultural influence and importance that they have. I want to bring in the attitude of what we are doing.
Do you feel you're kind of lucky in a way that you do have that element, that it is such a kind of unique selling point to have that element in what you're doing at MCM, that the strength of the way Korean culture, pop culture has infiltrated the world, it kind of gives you a step up, doesn't it, right away, when there's so many other people who do not have that structure and who are looking for something that's as graphic and as kind of aspirational, inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's of course, it looks like that from the outside. On a daily basis, it might also be challenging to bring these two things together, because I'm a strong believer of DNA of a brand, of codes of the brand, and to keep those codes strong and alive and evolve them into something that is really relevant for for opinion leaders almost, because for me, otherwise it gets, a brand fades out, because Mrs. Kim owns the brand now for 20 years. So the novelty aspect of the Korean German is a little bit, and K-pop is no longer a subcultural thing, it's a mass phenomenon. So I think we need to now really re-look at how we can still move that story forward.
Because your experience at Adidas was so important. I mean, it was so important for that brand. How did it change? How did it linger with you in the way that you approach this, coming back to MCM now with this new project?
Yeah, I mean, for Adidas, it was really also a great moment in time. I think that a lot of old good connections came into play there when we built collaborations there, and then it just got amplified with bigger pop stars and rap stars, as we know. So for me, it was really
and Rick and Raf.
Rick and Raf were basically the beginning of the whole push, and it was also seen as a bit of controversial at that time in the brand. But for me, it was really the right moment to start the conversation with them, because they were so connected with a certain part of youth culture that the brand wasn't talking to at that time. And I think that opened really doors for them that were very relevant and are until today, because through that, Pharrell, Kanye also came to the brand.
And they were the subcultures. I know you love your subcultures. So they were the subcultures that you were connecting with at that point.
Yes.
And this is the goal. Now that you say that K-pop's huge, obviously it's become a superculture, not a subculture. You are looking now for new subcultures.
Yes.
And where are you looking for them?
That's. I think right now you mentioned that fashion brands are lost. I think that there is something coming. Of course, I'm not 25 or 30 anymore, so I really have to. For me, it's always been interesting to talk to my younger environment, so all my nephews, nieces, and godchildren, and friends I have here in Berlin, and their children, and so on. So for me, it's really conversations, and still once in a while going out, and still being really interested in when a new artist is coming up, when a new musical artist is coming up, when so I'm constantly taking in music and visuals from artists, and also keeping my eyes open. I mean, for that, Berlin is an ideal city to just take in the influences and start conversations with the right people.
Because what something that everybody is talking about now is speed, and the velocity at which things are moving, and nothing sticks, and it's very discombobulating for people. And I noticed that it was so interesting at the couture, because you would never have imagined that haute couture would be suddenly where fashion seemed to be healthiest. People were talking about depth, not speed, which is, I think, is slow things down, focus, and so on, and elaborate on things and explore things, and don't just drop them and whiz on to the next thing wildly. How do you feel about that when you are where you're in this situation and you're dealing with these two, this hybrid environment? How do you take that kind of thinking on board, or is speed of the essence for you in what you're doing now?
No, for me it has always been evolution. I never believed in speed, because speed is devaluing things. You know, how valuable is a piece when you have 6 weeks later another fashion show with new pieces, and 6 weeks from the same brand. 6 weeks later again a fashion show with a different name, and so on. And I always believed in evolution. I strongly believe that you need to be able to wear some of your pieces that you bought a few years ago with your current wardrobe, for example. And I don't want that people stop buying. Of course, I don't want that. But I think it's a matter of throwaway or disregarding things that you've been cherishing for a while, and disregarding them because the system tells you to buy something in 6 weeks again, or in 2 whatever time.
And let's not even get into pricing structures.
No.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You're optimistic, though, aren't you? You're hopeful.
Yeah, for a German, I sound very optimistic, No, but I honestly, no, and you know me for a while, so I have a very critical side, very sometimes pessimistic side. But when it comes to fashion, as I said earlier, I'm burning for fashion. I love fashion so much, and I believe that fashion has fallen into almost the fast fashion trap, like high fashion fell into the fast fashion trap, and tries to be new all the time. And I felt very similar to you. I felt that with the couture and also with some changes in houses recently, I feel that there is more of an evolutionary process coming in, and not like building your wardrobe with this brand, and not about buying that piece and throwing it away or selling it online after a few weeks or months because the new thing is coming. The new thing is coming in.
But do you imagine what you're doing now? You're building a bridge. Do you see that as it has the potential to be a new model that combine your hope with this dream? That it does have the possibility to create something new.
Yeah, it gives me definitely the opportunity to maybe also like on a mixer and as a DJ, you dial up maybe the German side, maybe you dial up the Korean side more, and so it gives me an opportunity to be very playful with these two influences. And I'm now working on a collection for Spring Summer 27, and we finished designing it and everything, and it's a departure from what we've done before. So it is really almost like it's maybe for the first time where I feel like the clash becomes really visible in a way. You know, before we were talking to more of a global youth culture and had like little influences from there, heritage and a little bit of pop culture moments, and I feel like this is almost serious, the collection. But I love in its playfulness. It's serious, but I'm very happy where we are going.
Do you make room for the happy accident?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, okay, we are not starting now the conversation about AI and AI creation. I love the human error. May it be in when you draw by hand or when you create with AI. I love the human error, and the happy accident is definitely. I created some stuff, like I drew some stuff and then I put it into AI, and AI came back with something super crazy, and I loved it. It's not possible to do, but I really loved what came out of it, and it inspired me then to do something else.
Happy accidents, not unhappy accidents.
Yes.
That was the fastest 20 minutes in history.